This is your life expectancy in a firefight in seconds. Holy 5 seconds to live? Imagine this, you're fresh out of Marine Corps boot camp, barely 18, and you've just been assigned your role in the Vietnam War. Your MOS 2531, Field Radio Operator. Your heart pounds as you walk into your first day of combo class. The instructor stands in front of it. His expression is cold and unreadable. A single number is scrawled in thick white chalk 5. The instructor gestures at it and speaks, his voice steady and unforgiven. Listen up, and you might learn something that'll keep you alive. Your mind races. 5 seconds? How? You glance around the room, seeing the wide eyes and stiff postures. This isn't a joke. This is your reality now. The next few weeks are going to be an education like you've never thought possible before. So, why was the radio man a target? By the time of the Vietnam War, battlefield communications had evolved into an essential tool of combat. The PRC 77 radio system, nicknamed the Prick 77, was the backbone of this communication network. It gave U.S. forces a major strategic advantage, but it also made the radio man carrying them prime targets for the ever elusive enemy somewhere out there. The North Vietnamese Army, or NVA, and the Viet Cong quickly caught on. If they could take out the radio man, they could cut off a unit from reinforcements, artillery, and air support. That's why their first priority in any ambush was kill the radio man, and then target the officers and corpsmen. This brutal reality is what led to the chilling statistic. The life expectancy of a Marine radio man in a firefight was estimated to be anywhere between 5 and 30 seconds. Not exactly comforting odds. Being a Marine radio man was more than just dangerous, it was a death sentence if you weren't careful. The PRC 77 radio itself weighed about 13.5 pounds, but with extra batteries for extended field operations, encryption devices like the Nestor, and your other gear, that weight could easily exceed 50 pounds. Now add your rifle, ammo, grenades, water, and rations. You weren't exactly agile. Worst yet, the antenna was a dead giveaway. The standard height was 3 feet, but in the dense jungles of Vietnam, sometimes a 10-foot antenna was required for better reception and communication. It was practically an invitation for enemy mortars. And if that wasn't bad enough, you weren't just a target yourself. Officers would grab your handset to call in orders, exposing both of you to snipers. Imagine crouching in the mud, hearing gunfire all around. Your radio is chattering loudly on your back, but you can't turn the volume down because the knob is out of reach. Every transmission can mean life or death, and every second you stayed on that radio, the enemy was zeroing in. Those few seconds were just ticking away. Now, Marines quickly realized they had to protect their radio men, just like they did with corpsmen. Tactics evolved. Some radio men tucked their antennas under their gear, only pulling them out when absolutely necessary. And others swapped roles with riflemen to confuse snipers. Some even rigged decoy antennas on nearby trees, drawing enemy fire away from their real positions. These adaptations helped, but the life expectancy of a radio man was still one of the shortest in the war. Between 1964 and 1973, over 500,000 Marines served in Vietnam. 13,095 were killed, and an estimated 88,000 were wounded. The exact number of radio men among those casualties is actually unknown, but given their role and the horrifying statistics, that number was undoubtedly very high. Even long after Vietnam, the life expectancy statistics for radio men remained grim. By the 1980s, Marine recruits were still being taught the same statistic: 5 to 30 seconds in a firefight. In fact, I had a buddy that was assigned to that MOS right out of boot camp. He didn't choose it, he had no idea what it was, but it sounded high tech. It wasn't. The PRC 77 was still in use, and though it was slowly being phased out by more advanced systems, he still carried that big radio with the big antenna for a long time. Anyway, by 1988, the SYNCGARS, or Single Channel Ground and Airborne Radio System, replaced the PRC 77, offering more security and reliability. But it wasn't until the early 2000s that the real game changer arrived, the ANPRC 152 multiband handheld radio. This was a small, lightweight, and powerful radio that allowed troops to communicate without needing any massive antenna strapped to their back. During the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, Marine radiomen were still at high risk, but the improvements in technology gave them better survivability. Miniaturization and encrypted communications meant that fewer visible targets were available for snipers and ambushers. The radio man remains a critical asset in combat. If you've ever served in a modern conflict as a Marine or Army radio man, I want to hear from you. Has the life expectancy statistic improved? What's it like now on the battlefield? And what was it like when you served? Drop a comment below and share your experiences with us. Check out the next video for another fascinating topic. And as always, thank you for watching and thank you for your support.